Alright, hello. Welcome to Let Us Play, full long play, episode 6 of Castlevania, Symphony of the Night. This is turning into quite a long play. But we're still making progress, so. Right here we're in the Coliseum area. Few episodes I did a thing where I was actually eating cheesecake while I was recording the gameplay, so I called it a cheesecake break. As we go on here, I think even though I'm not eating cheesecake anymore, just dancing to the beat there, I still like to call them a cheesecake break. So if you see me looking at a map for a long period of time, that's what I'm gonna call it, because that's what makes a joke funny, is when you really explain it. Seems a little bit dramatic.
Who are you? Open hell's gate. Come forth, my servants. The scent of your blood. You're a Belmont. Crush this flea who invades my castle.
Richter Belmont. This is kind of like the Frankenstein fights in older Castlevanias, where it's like the big dude and then there's some little jerk that runs around with him. That guy sucks. It's a strength potion, not a strong potion, as I thought. Not gonna lie, I'm not really sure what I'm looking for here. Potion, alright. Wow, he does a lot of damage when hit. Eat my lightning. Oh, we got him. And I used the backdash, which I never use.
I'm certain that was a Belmont. So he says he's the lord of this castle.
Ah. Oh, I wish I could make that noise. If you hear me messing with the mic, I apologize. I'm messing with the levels, which I probably should have done before I started recording, but here we are anyway. That looks pretty good. Alright, I think we're all set there. Very, very professional here at Let Us Play. Alright, this annoying sword thing. Got him. Wow, this is turning into a real nightmare. Whew, 13 life. There we go, heal up. And we got him. He throws one last sword for some reason. I don't think it can hurt you, so I don't know what the point of that is. So we still have that upper area to kind of explore. We still have that open area on the left there that it's kind of funny. So a little bit of disclosure. I've probably mentioned this before. With this particular series, I don't record commentary while I'm playing. This is just due to my setup and schedules and all that sort of stuff. It's easier for me to record the gameplay first and then record the commentary second. The problem is that I recorded a bunch of gameplay all at once because I got really into this game. And now going back and doing all the commentary for them, and I'm having trouble remembering, honestly, what I was doing. And I'm looking at some of these I'm trying not to spoil things, too, because I've been to some of these areas, and I'm like, oh, I remember this, but then you see that I haven't been there yet. Dang old Medusa heads. I recently went out and got, there's a game store in Rhode Island called the Time Capsule that I like to frequent. If you are ever in the area and want to look for a good retro game, or a retro anything store, really, Time Capsule is a great place to go. There's one in Cranston, Rhode Island, and there's a smaller one that's in, I think it's Seacon, Massachusetts. But both are awesome. Anyway, I went there because they had their big, they had a sale, and picked up Castlevania 3 for like $12. I was pretty souped about it, so I've been playing that a little bit. And I was just doing the section. If you know the game, there's a part where you can go up. You don't have to do that part, but I do it because you get Grant. But you go up the clock tower, and so you're like trying to jump along. You know, a lot of stairs, and you're jumping along different gears. And there's Medusa heads, and they're really. I was thinking about why they're so annoying. And I think part of the reason they're so annoying is that they're kind of simple. Like, you know what they're going to do. They do a pretty simple pattern. Still love that he screams when he goes down the thing. You know, but they're not, like, some enemies will just bounce all over the place. They're not doing that. They're very straightforward. Like, we're going to go up, we're going to go down, we're going to go up, we're going to go down. Anyways, don't know where I was going with that. Once this is all over, I might try to just stitch together the full playthrough without my commentary. So if you just want to watch the regular, I might do that. It's a good idea. I'm also working on doing a new series, because I've been doing this for a while, and this is cool. I really like it. This is a fun thing to do. So this is me using the library card here. The library card, if you don't know, I think I just used it. Yeah, it takes you to the shop guy.
What can I do for you?
I'm interested in this.
What are you buying? But I'm working on a new series. So, like I said, I've been doing this show for...
Farewell for now.
This will be episode 6. And we still got a ways to go.
What can I do for you?
I'm interested in
There's
this.
going to be...
Thank you. Thank you.
That was silly.
I'm interested in
And
this.
so I'm trying to work on basically a second series of videos that I can do that...
I'm interested in this.
You know, when I started this channel and I started doing this, I thought to myself, you know, if I pick a game and I end up playing it for a while, and you're someone who's a fan of my stuff, but you're not a fan of the particular game that I'm playing, you know, what are you supposed to do then? You're not going to watch my channel for what could be 2 months, 3 months? So I'm working on a series that's basically, I sit down and I play a game for like a half hour and talk about it, and every week it's a different game. It's I mean, it's very similar to Game Informer does a series called Replay, which has inspired a lot of what I do. But they do a series, usually it comes out on Friday or Saturday, where they just play a game for a half hour and talk about it. And of course they're coming at it from a journalistic perspective, and the fact that they probably covered the game when it came out. They could talk about their review. They can also talk about their personal experiences. I'm more handling it from a my own personal experiences and that sort of thing. So I'm going to be working on that. You should see one this week, actually. So let me know if you like that. But it might give a something that's more varied and something that's different every week, so that if you're not feeling what I'm doing in terms of the long play stuff, then, you know, just watch my shorter stuff.
Farewell for now.
It does kind of annoy me. I think I've mentioned this before in previous episodes. It does kind of annoy me that in this game you can't, as far as I know, the only things you can sell are like jewels and rings and stuff. So you can't, like in a lot of RPGs and stuff, as you upgrade your equipment, you can sell your older equipment if you're never going to use it. Like I have stuff in my inventory that I feel is completely useless right now. And I wish I could sell it to this guy, but I can't, so it's kind of annoying. I just have this big inventory that I gotta
What can I do for you?
shuffle through whenever I want
I'm
to do stuff.
interested in this.
So what are we looking at buying here? Magic missile.
Thank you. Farewell for now.
I wonder if I could buy a soundtrack of this game. This game's got some really good music in it. The Coliseum music's a little weird. I like it. It just seems like it's weird for that. What? I don't think saving cures that poison effect. Nope. These things are so annoying. Did that bouncing skull on the ground do damage to me? Excuse me. So this must be like the reference section of the library. Nope, can't quite get up there yet. That is what makes this game, and a lot of games like it, like Super Metroid and stuff, I think so addictive is, although I think I just found the route I need to take, but these games really allow you like to see, okay, this is where I should be able to go, or eventually I'll be able to go there. And so when you get that next item or next upgrade, your mind just goes, if you're like, your mind just goes like, oh, I gotta go, here. I can go up there and explore that area. I can go do this. And it makes these games very addictive. I think as opposed to, I was thinking like Zelda. Like in the Zelda games, you always get new items and new stuff, but it's somewhat the same and somewhat different. A lot of times I've found in the Zelda games, when you get a new item, typically it's for use in whatever dungeon you're in. There are a lot of items in those games that are really only useful in like the dungeon you find them in, and don't have a ton of use outside of that. Obviously there's stuff like the hookshot in Ocarina of Time, where, and I've been told that Ocarina is the correct pronunciation, even though growing up I always said Ocarina of Time. But in that game you get like the hookshot, which you can use everywhere and anywhere. I didn't go down and explore. There we go. I think I've mentioned before on this. Oh, right here, Lesser Demon. It's just a stack of books blocking the door. Listen to that, just pumping music, double bass. That's the other interesting thing about Castlevania 3, is that it used, I think the NES used like an expanded audio thing, so but that's one of the games where I actually want the Famicom version, the Japanese version of that game, because it has extra sound hardware in that cartridge. So the music sounds really epic, especially for an NES game. It has like additional audio channels. Got him. Doing my little victory shoulder dance. Mist could pass. Makes me think of, I don't know if any of my viewers or listeners are fans of the show Psych. I am a huge fan of that show. Used to air on USA. They've done a movie, and they're working on another movie, I guess. But there's a part in that show where the main character, Sean, his father is buying him like a watch for like his birthday, and so he's getting it engraved. And he writes this like message like, "Hey Sean, you know, love you, blah blah blah," or whatever it is. And so he's at the engraver and he writes down his message, and the engraver tells him how much it's gonna cost, and he's like, "Ooh, that's expensive." So they end up like cutting out a bunch of words, and it ends up being just like, you know, "Hey Sean, don't lose," or something like that. Something very short and sweet. And so whenever I see "mist could pass," I think of that. Like, oh, I wonder if they wrote like a, you know, if you had mist, you'd be able to pass through this. But then they're like, oh, that's a lot of typing. I don't know about that. Mist could pass. All right. Thornweed. Thornweed sounds like a prep school. I go to Thornweed. A harpsichord still a thing? Earlier in this audio track I heard some harpsichord. I don't think I've ever seen one. Can you buy a harpsichord still? Do they still make harpsichords? Like right there, harpsichord. Maybe it's like an electric piano that has it built in. That's probably what it is. What? So I must have just gotten the double jump. That must be what's going on here. Cheesecake Break. Did I already say that would make a good band name? I probably already did. I still don't know about that baby noise. It's interesting that... I wonder if there's something going on with this area that I don't know about. If you go... I feel like when you first come to this area and you go in a door, like, everything looks normal. And then when you come out, it's, like, all, like, hazy and smoky and spooky. Still can't get up there yet. Me trying to find a use for that backdash. Victory dance. That backdash really doesn't seem to have a lot of use in this game. It's kind of like the wolf. Like, you can turn into a wolf in this game, and I mean, so far in my playthrough, I haven't found any use for it. I think at some point you get some sort of a relic or something that allows you to swim as the wolf. I think it's maybe its only use, because right now you can't swim. The water hurts you. I guess that's something in vampiric lore. Still don't know what to do in this room. Can't quite make heads or tails of it. This is me knowing about Castlevania 2. In Castlevania 2, there's kind of this famous part where you have to kneel by a waterfall, and then like a tornado comes and like picks you up and takes you to a new area. It's famous because I don't know how much, if you're not too familiar with Castlevania 2, the Japanese to English translation was not done very well, and so clues that so in that game you talk to NPC characters, and they give you clues about what you're supposed to do next, kind of like in a Zelda game. And in Japanese, the clues that they give you make perfect sense, but in English, they don't make any sense. So, not to mention that there are also NPC characters that will deliberately deceive you. It's one of the things I shouldn't say I love it, but something I find very interesting about the NES is that, at that time in gaming and game development, it was kind of like the Wild West. Like, I think there's still a lot of trying to figure out, how to make console games. Because, like, people knew how to make arcade games, and a lot of home consoles were basically just porting arcade games home You saw a lot of that on like the Atari and all those consoles. But, you know, NES was kind of the first time you were seeing games like, say, Legend of Zelda that were not so much arcade games and had a little bit more depth to them. And I walked myself into a train of thought, and then I forgot where I was going with it. So the NES is just kind of like this Wild West of people trying to figure stuff out. So on paper, the idea that, you know, NPC characters can, and I'm probably being redundant in saying NPC characters, but people could lie to you, essentially, and they could mislead you just like they could in real life. Maybe it sounds good on paper, but in practice, it's actually super frustrating. It's actually like one of the games I want to do on my other series is the original Metroid for NES. And that game is sort of famous for being very, you know, you're Samus, you're exploring this unfamiliar and hostile environment, and, you know, you don't really know where you're going. A lot of things look the same, and, you know, on paper, this all sounds like a good idea, because, like, obviously, if you were to explore, you know, an unfamiliar planet, you know, this would be the experience you would probably have, but in actuality, it's actually kind of frustrating and annoying, because now you don't know where you're going, and you're dying all the time, and it's just really, I don't know. I'm probably going to take a look at that game on my other series, because I do have a soft spot for it, but I don't know who performs this music, but I would see them live. Mist could pass and get that little orb thingy. That guy's jumping reminds me of the, I was playing GoldenEye with a friend of mine recently. And the guards in that game, sometimes they'll do, like, if you come around a corner and you first see them, sometimes they'll just do this little hop to the right. And it's one of those things that, you know, I always kind of made fun of, like, oh, that's silly and goofy. But the thing is, in that game, the way the controls are, like, actually that little hop is pretty effective, because it just moves them out of the way, and then you get, you know, aiming's not as precise as it is in modern shooters. So, you know, it's does make things tricky. So I can't tell really on the map where I'm trying to go here. Looks like I've pretty much explored this area. Went through there. Oh, that's right. These guys are jerks. Actually doing alright right now. Oh, that's not gonna do it. Use the book. Well, that didn't work. Those jerks are firing at me with their muskets. Remember, like, the first episode of this whole series when you'd see this game over screen like 5 times an episode, and now we've got it down to maybe only 1. Yet I save like every 30 seconds. So I'm trying to figure out the best solution for those jerks. In this game, solution to a lot of things is just to have holy water, which I might be going to try to get, honestly. Which power do I have? I don't even know. Yep, so I think right now what I'm doing, at the bottom of these stairs somewhere, I know I can get the the holy water, which should really help me in that, excuse me, in that bottom room in the Coliseum. You don't hear that on the radio or a podcast, someone just like burping. There it is, yep. So we got the holy water. So now I think we'll have a lot easier time trying to get through this room up here. I really love this game. This is a really good game. I think at first there were certain things, and it's, there's certain things, I guess, about this game that I still don't fully understand. I honestly think this game is really good for replaying over and over again, because there's a lot of depth to it and different, I'm still kind of learning how different weapons operate. I think I always have a somewhat bad habit in games like this, RPGs, even stuff like Diablo or Borderlands, where I pretty much just look at the stats and choose based on that. But a lot of times there's nuances that I don't always think about, that you can't really see on paper, that you have to take into account. I know I've made the mistake in Borderlands tons of times of picking up a weapon that I thought was, that was better. I like how I was saying nope, like I'm talking to myself here. Like, nope, don't do that, Ben, don't do that. Even though this is all, like I said, pre-recorded. But I've picked up weapons in Borderlands where I'm just like, oh, the stats are better, but in all reality, this gun is not as good or easy to use. Speaking of which, they came out with Borderlands 3, and I should probably pick that up. I probably could just play through Borderlands 2 again. Now, if I was smart here, I'd use a shield, because I should be able to block that. Just get in there and drop as much holy water as you can and hope everybody dies. I think that's my strategy, and I think it'll work. It did. Oh, the shield rod. That's a pretty good weapon. Extra effective with shield. It's like a mace. This is probably silly of me, but because I love the old Castlevania so much, honestly, one thing that, irked me about this game, and I'm still not so sure about, is the fact that, like, you don't ever really use a whip as far as I can tell. Like, you use swords and stuff like that, which are better weapons and should provide better gameplay all around, but I don't know, I like using the whip, even though it has a lot of downsides, like, you know, throwing off timing and stuff like that. So this game has made me really want to check out the handheld Castlevanias. I've probably talked about them before, but there's 6 of them. There's 3 on the Game Boy Advance. Don't ask me what they're called, because they're all... I know the Circle of the Moon. I think Harmony of Dissonance is Game Boy Advance. And then one of the Sorrow games. Because, of course, there's 2 Sorrow games in Castlevania. There's Aria of Sorrow and Dawn of Sorrow. I want to say Dawn of Sorrow is on the Game Boy Advance. And Aria of Sorrow is on the DS. Along with... I don't know the names of the other 2. Something of Despair, maybe? Let's take a look. Let's see how close I was. I've also heard tell of a Castlevania name generator on, like, somewhere on the internet that parodies... I can't say parody very well if I'm not thinking about it, but it parodies, well, Castlevania. Alright, let's see what we got here. We got... Alright, so we got Circle of the Moon in 2001, Harmony of Dissonance, I was right about that, and then there's Aria of Sorrow is actually the Game Boy Advance one, it appears. Right. Yep. So, while I've got the whole thing up here, I just want to talk about... So we'll start in 2001 here. So Circle of the Moon came out, Game Boy Advance, 2001. Castlevania Chronicles came out on the original PlayStation in 2001. I believe it was a remake of the original Castlevania. 2002, we got Harmony of Dissonance, which is the Game Boy Advance one. 2003, we have Aria of Sorrow, and then we have Lament of Innocence, which is the PlayStation 2 one. So Harmony of Dissonance, Lament of Innocence, is almost a musicality there. But then 2005 we have Dawn of Sorrow, which came out on the DS. Curse of Darkness. Which one's that? Oh, that's one of the 3D ones for PlayStation 2. So there's Legacy of Darkness, that came out on the N64, and then there's Curse of Darkness. Excuse me. I'm sorry I'm burping so much. Anyway, so on the DS, we have Dawn of Sorrow, Portrait of Ruin, and Order of Ecclesia, which is supposed to be the best one, Order of Ecclesia. Not a whole lot since then. Unless you like Lords of Shadow, which I haven't played. It'd be fun to try that one. I don't think do I own it? I don't know if I have it. I just love the sound of that weapon. It sounds so brutal. Still can't get up there. Nope, we're still gonna try though. Somehow I think my shield rod's going to get me up there. Alright, now I think we're going to try to go through that top area where the bridges were crumbling. Nope, we're not going to do that apparently. We're going to do something else apparently. It is so funny to me that he screams as the elevator just falls. Hey, we got some more life there. Garnet. Kevin Garnett. Salable. Salable. Saladable. It's like any food you can put in a salad is considered saladable. I could salad that. Oh. Here's how good I am at commentating these. I did not notice that I had picked up Mist. So it must have been when I was reading you all the names of Castlevania games, because that's good listening. Now, spoiler alert for anyone who may be a keen viewer. You might notice that I was in the library and I beat the Lesser Demon, and then there's that area where there's like a couple of statues that I destroyed, and then there was another Mist could pass door. I totally forgot about that for a little bit. So, and I could be wrong, but I think that's actually where you get the bat power. So, spoiling a little bit there, but if you're watching and you're like, go get the bat power, go get the bat power, I did forget for a little bit, excuse me, and then I did eventually go back and get it. Stupid knife. I was just recently watching the Angry Video Game Nerd where he plays Ghosts and Goblins, and he says, get the knife, get the knife. And I was thinking, like, well, interestingly enough, that Castlevania, the knife is actually one of the worst weapons in the game. Of course, this is also the game where you pick up hearts to increase your magic, so yeah, Castlevania dances to the beat of its own drummer. Alright, now I think we're gonna go to the top here. Maybe. It's funny to think of Castlevania like Ellen DeGeneres. Going through here, this is the boss that I fought off camera accidentally. Another thing you might notice, excuse me, I don't know if I'd mentioned this previously. I was watching My Life in Gaming, which is a fantastic YouTube channel. If you are into gaming, they're a great channel. They actually talk a lot about how to get the optimal picture from all of your old consoles. They talk a lot about RGB and just the best picture and sound and how to do all that stuff. So if you're into especially the technical aspect of gaming, they're a pretty cool channel, those two guys. But they talked about this game and how sorry. This version applies a smoothing filter. It's called the enhanced graphics. And I didn't notice I had it on, so I do have it on. So this game might look a little bit smoother than you remember. If you played the PlayStation version, I thought about turning it off, but I figured just for the sake of consistency for the playthrough, I'm gonna leave it on. So if you don't like it, then well, I'm sorry. You can stop watching. But I do, you know, as someone that hasn't played the PlayStation version, this version's pretty fun. So if you have an Xbox One and want to play this game, it's a good version. I actually got this for free too. They gave this away for free on Xbox a while back. I'm still not necessarily convinced I couldn't get through this section without the oh, I'm gonna lose my I still kept it. I'm still not convinced I couldn't get through this section without the double jump, but maybe that's like a speed running thing. Because it's like in Contra when, you know, the bridge is collapsing. If you know what's coming, you can actually jump at the right time and be all right. Skull Lord is that guy's name. I've thought about doing Contra on the channel, like, oh, what if I did a long play of a Contra game? They're not very long, but they're also super hard, so if you want to watch me do the same thing over and over and over again. I honestly don't think I'm too far off from being able to do the original Contra 3 lives. I got a pretty good handle on that game. Whole place is falling apart. I think I have some armor that prevents turning to stone. Probably should put that on. I think I probably do, actually. Did I? Yep, must have. I was watching the screen that time too, and I didn't even see it. Not really sure what the difference is between the blue Medusa heads and the gold Medusa heads, but who knows? Oh, got my holy water. Dang it. One of the weird experiences in this game is actually when an opponent, so with the knockback, when an enemy actually knocks you back into a crappy weapon that you have to pick up, mostly the knife. What am I doing? Trying to get up there. Ow. It is the biggest bummer about this, one of the biggest bummer, but you like don't get like invincibility frames after getting hit. So if you get hit, the enemy can just hit you again over and over and over again. I mean, it's like real life. Sorry, I got kind of close to the mic on that. My computer went to sleep. This is just like Castlevania 3. That's a jerk place to put spikes. What am I doing here? Alright, go in that door. Let's do it. Yep, just want to make sure that water hurts me. I do apologize if you're watching this and notice that the audio levels are kind of bouncing around a little bit, because I've been trying a slightly different setup today than I normally use, so moving the mic around and finagling with the levels. Right, probably take that little gear thing. If I can get a second to breathe here. This is fun. Stupid flea guys. One of the best things about that shield rod is it hits underneath you a little bit, so it makes those flea guys a lot easier to kill. Dang old harpies. Yeah, these guys sounds like Santa. So those guys, when you kill them, they have like a second form. You fool! This isn't even my final form. Their like sword becomes a bad guy. It's almost like the mirror form, like it. Well, not really. Like the mirror form in Zelda. We have to fight yourself. You can use the big Goron sword. That'd be a fun playthrough. That's a game I know pretty well. I could probably get through it pretty quickly. Or it would take forever. I don't know which one. Sword Lord. Sounds like a neckbeard YouTube channel. Sword Lord. Ah, the holy water, you got. Also very Castlevania 3. Dracula's Curse, or Akumaju Densetsu in Japanese. Where am I going? Go back. So I just picked up the healing mail. But I don't know if it's better than the diamond plate. I think I'll probably stick with the diamond plate. Oh, diamond plate's way better. Yeah, get that diamond plate on. I feel like I'm poking Santa. Ho 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 ho. Uh-oh. Can't hit her with the thingy. The thingy. What am I doing? Oh, I'm turning this potion, I think. Don't seem to have a big healing item, huh? I'm a little concerned here. I wish I could hit it with the holy water. Oh, there we go. That did some damage. Oh, no. Nice dodge, he said to himself. There we go. Get the holy water involved. Alright, I think we're getting pretty close to... Yep, look at that carpet. That's ominous. So I think that's going to be the end of the episode. I think that'll do it for us here. Bit of a longer one, I guess, than usual. But I don't think... Hold on. Am I going to go explore up there a little bit? I don't think so. Just taking a cheesecake break at the end of the episode. Nope, that'll do it. Alright. See you next time for another episode of Castlevania Symphony of the Night.